Hey everyone, what's up? This is Luke from Jackmate, and as promised, I'm posting today the best Steam games released in February and March for the first couple days, and we're going to look at all different types of categories. Below, if you want to see, there's going to be timestamps in the descriptions and in the comments for mobile, so you can skip around to see what you wanted to see. Sorry if there's any mistakes or less quality production. I'm feeling a little bit sick and tired today, a little bit of fatigue, but you know what? The show must go on. So let's go and check out those Steam games. Let's start off with the extremes and look at the best of the best and also the worst of the worst over the last month. The first game we gotta talk about is Kingdom Come Deliverance. Now, most people have already heard of it, but in case you haven't, it's a story-driven open-world RPG that immerses you in an epic adventure in the Holy Roman Empire. This game has been compared to the likes of an Elder Scroll game, except for it's even more hardcore and way more realistic, which some people like and some others say, wow, it's so realistic, it's actually kind of frustrating. It's hard to deny this game from being the best of the best when it's already sold over 500,000 copies and people are playing it for hours on end, already totaling an average playtime of 28.4 hours. However, such a small studio making such an ambitious game has led many to believe that there might be problems with the game, and they were right. A lot of people are experiencing lots of bugs, and that has brought the overall rating of the game down to 73.38% on Steam, but hopefully they'll make up for those bugs and patch them at later times. How about time for a worst of the month with Dynasty Warriors 9. Back in the days of middle school, I used to play Dynasty Warriors with my best friend and we loved the game, so when it was coming to Steam with a new one, I was quite interested in to see how it would go, and guess what? This $60 game got an abysmal 15% on Steam. That is absolutely pathetic, one of the worst ratings I've ever seen. Apparently they tried to make it more open world, which sounds really cool until you realize the world is huge, really boring, repetitive, and there's nothing worth exploring. Not only that, but it's full of bugs, which makes it even worse. Back to best of the best with the game Rust, which is finally fully released after sitting in early access for 4 years. Now, this is a good thing, but it also means that they raised the price up by $15, so that kind of sucks for you if you don't already have it. It's now sitting at $34.99 when it's not on sale. I'd be highly surprised if you haven't heard this game already, because it's already sold 6 million copies within its 4 years of being on early access, and it's probably one of the most volatile games on Steam. People love it and think it's the best game ever because it allows them to express their deep internet trolldom on the inside, or they hate the game because they're a generally nice person that just wants to build up, progress in the game, except they can't because the internet trolls ruin it for them every single time they log on. I've owned this game for a while, and the most fun I've had on it was when I was just with my friends on a modded server or a private server and tried to just troll around and have fun, build a bunch of random stuff, and even kill each other and get some good laughs out of it. Playing this by myself though was one of the least fun experiences I've had video gaming, so if you're only going to play by yourself, I would not recommend it. You just get blown up, destroyed all the time, and it's very difficult in the midst of gangs of other people. Alright, one more worst of the worst, because I gotta let you guys get as angry as I am at this. Hunt Down the Freeman on Steam is a terrible, awful ripoff of a game. Apparently they tried to make an inspired Half-Life game. I'm saying this with quotations, inspired. Really, they're just ripping it off, stealing it, packaging it up with terrible gameplay, terrible plot holes, awful textures, awful voiceovers. It's hilarious. Just go look it up on YouTube. It's so bad, and they were just using this Half-Life as an excuse to sell a game, to sucker people into it for $24.99. That's insanely ridiculous. Stay away, get mad. The developer is Royal Rudius Entertainment. Don't buy from them. It's time for some free games. First up is Guns Up, which is a free-to-play side-scrolling strategy game that pits its players against each other in a battle to destroy enemy bases to increase their own army's strength. This game has picked up some popularity with over 60,000 players in the last 2 weeks on Steam. Some have given it the thumbs down on Steam, claiming it's a pay to win, but others are saying, yes, there is stuff to pay, but it's only pay to grow faster. You can still climb through the rankings, even playing free. Reminds me a little bit more of a mobile game, something like Clash of Clans, where you can do PvP, but you're only viewing the replay of them destroying your base or vice versa. Next up on our free game list is Closers, and I won't say too much about this game because I'm not huge into anime hack and slash games, but it has been doing pretty well. It is a hack and slash, but it's also an MMO where you get to choose different missions, battle through them, and get gear and level up. The only real negatives I've seen from Steam players is that there is a fatigue system, so you can't keep playing through missions or you have to pay for it, and also it gets pretty repetitive. Dead Maze is a top-down survival zombie MMO game that's free on Steam and has had over 100,000 players within the last 2 weeks. In this MMO, you have to work with other players to scavenge this zombie-filled world to make sure you have enough to eat and to drink, as well as looking for other weapons and fun resources. Overall, this game has done pretty well with a 74% rating on Steam. However, with a lot of free games, people have been experiencing bugs and lag that have prevented them from enjoying this game completely. Our last free game to check out together is called Bomb Tag, which is pretty self-explanatory. You just throw around bombs and try to blow up the other players. It looks more like a casual fun party game that you can play with up to 8 other people, and if you have some friends, get on it and enjoy a little bit of fun. Our next section features popular early access games that have been released on Steam in the last month. As always, do lots of research before buying them. Battalion 1944 hit early access at the very beginning of the month on February 1st and has already accumulated 150,000 sales on Steam. It claims to be trying to recreate the good old days of Call of Duty 1 and 2. Some people have said it really hits the mark and others says it falls flat and doesn't really feel or remind them of those days. Its main game mode, Wartide, reminds me a little bit of Counter-Strike with 5v5 round-based gameplay where you're also building up your class and your weapons. That's its main competitive mode, but you can also play Capture the Flag, Domination, Team Deathmatch, and Free-for-All. It's also allowing people to make dedicated servers and modding, so expect other things in the midst of that as well. Right now it only has 57% rating on Steam, so if you're into first-person World War II shooters, then maybe just put this one on your wish list for now. Hunt Showdown is definitely the early access game that I'm most excited about, and it's a little bit hard to describe. The way they have it described on Steam is a competitive first-person PvP bounty hunting game with heavy PvE elements. From what I understand so far is that you work with your co-op partner, you start randomly on the map, you have to defeat different PvE areas to track down on the map where the boss is. Once you find the boss, you have to kill the boss, take its loot, and then run out before any other team kills you. It sounds very intense to me because not only are you trying to find the boss, but so is everyone else, and anyone at any time can kill any other team. It has a 69% rating on Steam so far, and a lot of positive reviews are saying it's the most unique and fun game that they have played in a long time. My two main concerns for this game would be that you have to rely on your partner, and if you don't have a friend with you, then your partner could either be terrible or disconnect, and a lot could happen, making you up by yourself at a huge disadvantage. Also, the game is $30 right now, and I feel like it's one of these games that if it doesn't get enough continued hype, then they might stop development at one point, and then you're out $30, which is a lot for an early access game. So I'm simply going to put it on my wish list for now. If you want to buy it and start playing, then buy it at your own risk, and you just got to be okay with bugs and hopefully the continuation of all of their development. Another popular early access game released in February is Eco, which is like Minecraft except for there's a huge meteor that's about to crash into your world within 30 days and you are tasked to stop it. The complicated matter though is that everything you do to the environment affects your world. The game says without careful attention that ecological destruction can destroy your civilization before the meteor even gets to strike it. Besides the normal crafting and building in these types of games, there's also a unique gameplay of running a government to protect your world and also learning how your actions affect the world through science. It's been getting some pretty high praise from some people, although of course it's early access so there's still lots of bugs. So perhaps you're thinking like me, $30 might be a little bit too much to spend on this unfinished game, but hopefully they keep developing it and making it into something awesome. Up next is a game called Desolate, which is another first-person horror survival game. There are already a few of these games out on Steam like it, and this one doesn't seem to be that unique, although the draw of it is that you can play with up to 4 players, so it makes for some more co-op survival fun. Like a lot of survival horrors, you're trying to not just survive the environment, but to explore the open world and solve its mysteries. Most people have already given a thumbs up, however, most people are also asking for more content and to fix a little bit of the bugs. Next up is a game being published by Humble Bundle. It's Them's Fightin' Herds. If you guys were a part of my live show last week, I said it looks kind of like My Little Pony maybe had a baby with Tekken and became a fighting game. Generally, 2D fighters aren't insanely different from one another, but this one does bring in some uniqueness with its art, its style, and apparently it has good fighting gameplay as well. Alongside that, it does also have other game modes that feature single player and training modes. With a 93% positive rating on Steam, apparently there isn't much to complain about, as that's one of the highest early access Steam ratings that you'll ever see. Up next, let's look at a few of the highest rated Steam games to be fully released in the last 4 weeks. The creators of Castle Crashers and Battle Block Theater that have done really well are at it again with their new game Pit People. This is a turn-based combat co-op adventure game, also with a 2v2 multiplayer online arena mode. As always, the behemoth seems to make great games, and this is no different with a 96% positive rating on Steam. If you like turn-based combat and funny comedic games, then this one is probably definitely one to pick up at only $14.99. Another well-done turn-based strategy game hit the Steam store, this time from the creators of FTL, and this game is called Into the Breach. In this game, you control powerful mechs from the future to defeat an alien threat. Each attempt to save the world presents a new randomly generated challenge in this turn-based strategy game. Pretty much everyone is saying if you liked FTL, then you need to pick up this game. It already has a 94% positive rating on Steam. Candleman: The Complete Journey came out on Steam as an indie 3D platformer where you play as a candle, which I know seems a little bit weird, but a lot of people are saying this is a great platformer. Compared to the likes of a Little Nightmares that was an atmospheric platformer that did very well on Steam, and this one is also doing well with a 97% positive rating on Steam. Up next, we have those cheap Steam games, the ones under $10 that you can buy right now and not have to spend too much cash. Dungreed is a 2D side-scrolling action game with 2D roguelite elements. You become an adventurer exploring a continuously evolving dungeon to prevent the town from being destroyed. This game has sold almost 50,000 copies and has an 87% rating on Steam. People have said it's a really good roguelite with good balance. It's not too hard, but it's not too simple either. And they've also said it's a lot like Rogue Legacy, so if you liked that game, then go ahead and check out Dungreed. We Were Here Too is the second game in this series. It's an online co-op puzzle game. It has an 80% positive rating on Steam since its release, so it's done pretty well. So if you have, a significant other that's pretty cute, or maybe just a friend who is another casual player that likes puzzles, then this is a really fun one that you can work together on. The first game of the series, which is just simply called We Were Here, is free on Steam, so you can always play that one before checking out this one, deciding if you want to pay the $9.99 for the second edition. Battle Beast Simulator is just like the other battle simulators, except for, well, it's with animals and they have weird guns and it just looks kind of weird. Kind of funny at the same time, you never know, as long as you don't mind PETA knocking on your door all pissed off. However, it's cheaper than most battle simulators, and I think people can tell, saying that the AI is very predictable and it's just kind of clunky. So really only get it if you want a couple good cheap laughs. I don't know if this is a game that you'd keep playing. It does have a campaign mode where you have to build strategy, decide which monsters and what magic you're going to use to defend your tower, so that's kind of fun. But other than that, who knows if it's really worth it. Hopefully I'm saying this next game right, probably not, but Remnants of Nazith is a very good platformer, fast-paced, difficult, high-score type of game, something like speedrunners of Super Meat Boy or the likes of those. If you like those games, then you'll probably like this one as well. It's really cool and really unique, adding a grappling hook to those speedruns. It's only $9.99 and has 98% positive ratings on Steam, so if you're a person who wants to go do something difficult and shoot for the high score to brag to your friends, then this could be a good game to pick up. I didn't know what else to do. Come on, guys, give me a break. I'm feeling sick. See ya, friends.